All right. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our Student Alumni Roundtable for the MA in Teaching program. We are so excited that you are joining us today. Just to give you a little bit of information about what the Student Alumni Roundtables are. The purpose of the roundtable is so that current students and prospective students will have an opportunity to connect with the program director, who is also faculty, and meet some alumni who have graduated from this program. You'll be able to ask questions, discuss current program studies, receive tips on how to transition from student to graduate, and then examine next steps after graduation. I am Dr. Renee Dorn. I'm GSEP Director of Alumni Relations, and the rest of our Alumni Relations team who will be assisting today are Sophia Henriquez, our Alumni Relations Analyst, and Alexis Goldston, our Graduate Assistant for Alumni Relations. So if you ever need anything from our office, please let us know and please reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you. To the current students and prospective students, just to let you know, if you have any questions during the roundtable, please put them in the chat or the Q&A. And we'll make sure to ask those questions so that the program director and alumni, as well as our representative from Career Services and enrollment officer will be able to help you, okay? So I'm very glad to introduce you to our program director for the MA in Teaching program. Not only is she the program director, but she is faculty liaison for CABE Pepperdine, professor of education, and the director of the teacher preparation program. We have with us today Dr. Reina Garcia Ramos. So welcome, Dr. Garcia Ramos.
Thank you, Dr. Dorn. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to see some familiar faces, some folks that I've talked to, some people that I've met in person. So I'm looking forward to this session to help clear up any other questions you may have about the MAT program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We also have with us our Executive Director of Career Services, and she's also adjunct faculty for the Psychology Division, and that is Yaz Hardaway. Welcome, Yaz. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So excited to be here and to meet all of you. Welcome.
And then we also have with us our Enrollment Services Officer who will be able to help you with this MAT program, and that is Kelly Hill. So welcome, Kelly. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I see a lot of familiar faces. So nice to see you guys here.
That's wonderful. Now, in addition, I'm always excited to introduce our alums who take the time out of their schedule to talk to the current students and prospective students. So the alums that we have joining us today are Dr. James Delio, Dr. Jai Oni Dane, and Isabella Fritsch, and MJ Salt. So welcome to our guest speakers who are alums of our MAT program. So welcome. At this point, now that we've gotten past the introductions, I want to bring in Dr. Garcia Ramos. I want her to talk a little bit about the MA in Teaching program so we can all find out what the program is about, what to expect in the program, and then any new things that are coming up with the program. So I'm going to pass things over to you, Dr. Garcia Ramos.
Great, excellent, thank you. So welcome everyone. You've probably already heard lots about the program. You are here because you're interested. You may have already enrolled and you're going to be with us in the fall. So we're super excited that you're here to hear from the alumni specifically. But the only thing that I will share in addition to the many information probably that you've received already from us is that our program is unique in 3 ways. I'll start with the first one. It is a fast-paced, full-time 11-month program in which you receive both a master's and a credential by the time that you're done in the program. Sometimes the question is, what part of it is credential? What part of it is graduate studies? It's infused. The program is designed so that when you're in every class at the university in the MAT program, you are getting a lot of theoretical knowledge, pedagogy, understanding about curriculum and instruction related to how you might be able to use this in classrooms today. The second thing that is unique about our program is that from the day that you start in the program, you will be out in the field as a student teacher. So you will be engaged in what we call our clinical practice, and we have 3 phases. We have phase 1, that is our developmental stage, where we bring you into the experience. We give you lots of support with your mentor teacher. You're there to observe, because some of you probably have a lot of experience working in schools, have subbed before, have been an instructional aide. So that first experience is to get everybody on the same playing field as they move into clinical experience 2. Clinical experience 2 then is ramping it up, meaning you're going to be taking on part of the responsibility of teaching. And then the final phase of student teaching is where you do the full takeover. And that's a requirement both of the state and of our program, that you work with your mentor teacher, your university field supervisor, with 4 weeks of full takeover for yourself. So that's the second way in which our program is unique. And then finally, the third way in which our program is unique is that you don't have a thesis in our program. We have what we call our graduate research capstone symposium. And so this is where you're guided with current faculty that have ongoing research. You can plug it yourself into their research. You can come up with topics that you want to elaborate. So let's say throughout the program, you want to spend more time identifying and understanding how bilingual students learn and develop literacy. That might be your capstone research project. And so in that final phase, when you're getting ready to exit the program and move into the field, and you're looking for that job, you will be able to say in that interview, and additionally to the credential and the master's, I've also done this inquiry around, let's say, bilingual students and literacy, if that's what you decide to take on. So that's the MAT program. And the other thing that I will mention is that currently we have expanded. So we are at the West LA campus in the fall, Calabasas graduate campus in the fall, and we've expanded this year to Irvine in the fall. So we have faculty that collaborate with each other. So let's say you say, what's the difference between going to the program at Irvine and going to the program at West LA? Will I get the same quality of the program? Absolutely, because all our professors are consistently collaborating, which means that when you start in the fall and you have that literacy course, all your literacy professors, regardless of where you take the class, already have the same syllabus, they know the system, they know what the assignments are, so that you will be getting that similar experience at each of our graduate campus sites. So that's a little bit of what I'll say. And then the one thing that I want to point out, that if you are coming to join the program in the fall, that the state of California currently has the Golden State Teachers Grant, and that is an opportunity for you to work in schools where there may be high needs, usually Title I, which means there are schools that have that may have high need population of students. So large number of English learners, maybe students that are foster kids, students that are low SES. And the Golden State Teacher Grant at this time, if you apply for it now as you're coming into the program, is awarding up to $20,000 for you to finish your credential. So that's huge. We don't know how long that program is going to last. So if you're interested in our program, make sure that you check in with Kelly about the information related to the Golden State Teacher Grant. And that's pretty much our program in a nutshell. I'm sure our alumni are going to have lots more to share about their experiences as they went through it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Garcia Ramos. That's a lot of fantastic information, especially talking about that grant. That is wonderful. Okay, so we're going to come back to you, Dr. Garcia Ramos. But next, I want everyone to meet Yaz Hardaway, our Executive Director of Career Services, so she can talk a little bit about how Career Services can help you as a student and then when you graduate as an alum. Thank you, Yaz.
Thanks, Dr. Dorn. Hi again, everyone. It's so great to see all of you here. So I'll just start off by saying Pepperdine is unique in that each of our schools has its own career services department. So because of that, we're able to provide customized services for our education and psychology students and alumni. So even after our students graduate, you still have access to free alumni services. It's like the gift that keeps giving. And I'll also say that we have a really strong partnership with the teacher preparation program at Pepperdine. And so we actually come into the classroom and we deliver presentations to help prepare you for the employment search process, your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, job search strategies, interview preparation. And then we co-host an annual event called Meet the Schools. And this past year, we expanded it and turned it into a conference. And so it was at our West LA campus, but all of our Master of Arts in Teaching students were invited. We had administrators who gave some, inside scoop about the transition from the classroom or the transition from graduate school into a full-time teaching position. And then we had different recruiters from districts and schools that our students have really expressed interest in come and talk to our candidates about what they look for when they hire, their hiring timelines, and then their overall recruitment processes. So I share that with all of you so that you know that it's not just a general support. You're really receiving support specifically for your career aspirations in teaching. In addition to the programmatic aspect, we also provide one-on-one support, and that's in person and via Zoom. So we offer career design sessions for those of you who may, through the program, decide that you want to do something else or in addition to teaching in the classroom and are wanting to figure out what that is. Some of you may be embarking on a career transition. Is there anyone in here who's making a career change into teaching? Okay, nobody in this room. All right, so for some of you, you may be already working with children or in an education capacity and you're getting your master's degree and credential to be able to kind of take it to the next level. So whatever situation that you're in, we can help you with your self-marketing materials, your resume, cover, LinkedIn profile, and provide that one-on-one support. And that's not just, through classroom presentations, but that's ongoing through the program and beyond. So, is it Danny or Danny's making a career transition? Yeah. So I'll address this to you in particular, that sometimes people who make a career transition are unsure about how to highlight their transferable skills and how to show their added value as a teacher based on their previous career. So we can help you do that as well. So that's all I'll say for now. I welcome any questions you have. And again, nice to see all of you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yaz. Now, remember, for all the students that are in the roundtable today, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we will be able to get to those questions as we move along. All right. At this point, I want to bring in our alums and talk to them about their experiences within the MAT program. So we have MJ Saltz. So hi, MJ. We also have James Delio. Hi, James. And then we have Dr. Dane. Hello, Dr. Dane. All right, so I want to ask each one of you, first tell us a little bit about your background, and then tell us what you're currently doing in your positions and why you selected the MA in Teaching program. Okay, so let me start with Dr. Dane.
All right. Hi, everyone. I took or started the MAT program in 2016. Prior to starting the program, I was already in education. I was working as a paraeducator in Santa Monica, Malibu. So I had already had my feet on the ground, helping students. And the reason why I chose Pepperdine was I had heard such great experiences from friends who went to Pepperdine for undergrad and had already got my bachelor's. So doing the MAT program made a lot of sense because one, it was close to school, and two, I heard really great reviews. The Career Center, I met Yaz in January of 2016. She was really inspirational in helping me, transition. And my academic advisor, he really helped answer all of the questions that I had, and it just was a really easy transition. Currently, I am a field supervisor for Pepperdine. So if you're in the program in Clinical 1 or Clinical 2 or Clinical 3, I visit your classroom and observe you and give you tips and tricks and help you improve your teaching strategies. I'm also transitioning from being a classroom teacher to teach at the university level.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank you. MJ, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, everyone. First of all, it's just so surreal to be on this side of this. I remember talking to Kelly Hill and her convincing me superbly, I must say, that this is the program I need to be in. Okay, so my name is MJ Saltz, and currently I am a 6th grade teacher in the Santa Clarita area. And prior to becoming an educator for over 20 years, I worked as an outreach director for a regional community in a variety of places in Los Angeles for over 20 years. And got married, had 2 kids, and started to spend some time in the classroom with my children's teachers, became best friends with some of them. Next thing I knew, after 24 years in one career, I was like, I think I want to be a teacher. So when I was researching different programs, Pepperdine has an impeccable reputation, for one. You'll hear that many, many times over. And I remembered my favorite, my lights are going up. My favorite high school teacher went to Pepperdine. And so I made the call, and like I was saying earlier, I talked to Kelly, and she will be your best friend. She can help you with all kinds of ways of getting that scholarship here, there, and making the transition into getting your master's very, very easy. I felt that very much. So anyway, so that's a little bit about me.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, MJ. That's wonderful. So, okay, next we have James. Hi, James.
Hi, Dr. Dorn, Dr. Garcia Ramos, Yas, and Sophia. Nice to see you all. So just to introduce everyone, I'm James DeLeo. I've actually been in education now for about 13 years, starting off at my school district as an office substitute and making my way up to where I am now. So I am currently the department chair for the special ed department at Saddleback High School, my current school site, as well as chair for school site council. And so when it came to choosing my program, so I was kind of eased towards contacting Dr. Garcia Ramos through one of our mutual comadres, Dr. Garcia Ramos, who she herself is a current principal as well as a Pepperdine alum. And so for me, it was a no-brainer, just trying to choose Pepperdine. So because I knew the acceleration of the program, but it was very easygoing. It's very close-knit cohort. You'll get one-on-one time with your professors, as well as being with your cohort as well. And the beauty part about being the cohort being small is that you can bounce ideas off of each other from your personal experiences in student teaching, as well as what other strategies you can implement with whether at the primary or secondary level. But other than that, it's been a wonderful experience when I was here at Pepperdine. And of course, branch out your network along the way too. That's what I did when I was running the CABE chapter with Dr. Garcia Ramos.
Okay, all right. So James, okay, let me ask you. You mentioned the cohort.
Yes.
So that it's a small cohort. What
Mhm.
what size is that when you're saying a
Ye-
small cohort size?
Usually about 15 to 20 students.
Okay. Now,
At the time,
no,
at the time it was up 15 to 20 of us.
15 to 20 of you. So
Mhm.
MJ and Dr. Dane, would you say your cohort size were about the same, 15 to 20?
We were about 12.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, that's fair. A
It's
couple
good.
classes were a bit bigger. But yeah, I don't think I had any classes less than 20 though.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So while you were in your cohorts, did you get to know your classmates well? Do you still keep in touch with them? So
Hold
tell
on.
me a little bit about that.
Give me 1 second. As soon as I turn on the lights in my classroom. Okay. As far as that, I still keep in contact with a couple. We do have a group text where we just keep tabs on each other too. And, all of us, we're just plugging along. By now, we just completed our TIPS induction for the most part. So I have one more thing to do before I'm officially cleared. But other than that, we still keep in contact, in fact, the cohort I graduated with, 2 of them got married.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice.
That happened in our cohort too.
Nice.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm not the only one.
Okay, dating happened, but no one's gotten married yet. But I just graduated 2 years ago in 2021.
Mhm.
And we are such a close cohort. I mean, we're still in contact to this day, many of us. We go out to dinner, trips together. Yeah, marriage advice, dating advice. That's the
And
thing
this
too about social media now.
I'm like, in my case, I'm like, dating, who has time for that? Who has time for that when you're busy taking over the educational world?
Yeah. Our cohort is very, very tight knit. We still keep in contact, same social media. We see each other's kids, we see each other's classrooms, we bounce ideas off of each other. We have like a classroom management thing going on, like, hey, what are you doing in your class? How do you handle that? And it's really great. It's a family.
Especially when it comes to handling a full classroom of special ed students.
Oh, wow.
I will say that's something that the professors really infused in us from the start, is they really encouraged get to know. And I think for our cohort, we started online. So it was new for all of us. We were in that era. And we were like, how are we going to get to know each other, online? And then we had to learn half of our time when we were what Dr. Garcia Ramos was talking about, clinical 1, clinical 2, half of that was also online. So we were getting to know our mentor teachers, Zoom. And then the other half, we transitioned to in-person. So for us, it was the best of both worlds because we gained so much knowledge and growth from both of those experiences. But professors really encouraged that. They encouraged us to go to West LA, even though we weren't there in person. And we did. We went there. We would study there outside. We went across the street to, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. I can see it now. What's that place? Hello, hamburgers.
Islands.
Islands, thank you.
Across the campus, yes.
Even though, again, we couldn't be inside, but we went there to encourage each other, be there for each other.
That's good. That's good that your cohorts are still close, that you're still keeping contact. I want to ask you about your capstone projects. So what were they? How did you put that together? Tell us a little bit about them. So, yes, I'm going to start with you, James.
Well, when I started the capstone project, it was kind of like gathering what we'd done is we made a website and gathered all the information. This was through Dr. Coladas' class at the time. And so it was very close knit, where each one of us had a section to where we were researching and then writing about in our capstone project. So in a sense, I would have to say it was certainly a lot better than having you write a master thesis.
Okay, all right. What about you, Dr. Dane?
My capstone was actually a little different than how it's structured now. I took the participatory action research class. So it was a PAR project where I took data from my classroom and really looked at the achievement gap and how I could use math games to improve my students' scores, which was awesome. We used Prodigy. So if you're in the lower grades, you'll probably use that, or through middle school, you can use that. It's a really fun game. And our math scores improve. And the capstone presentation, super easy, really chill. I have social anxiety, so I don't like doing presentations, but it was really, really relaxed. And you're presenting to the people that you know, they're your family or your cohort, they're your professors, and your friends. And so you're sharing the things that you're engaging with in your classroom, and it's really awesome.
Wonderful. What about you, MJ? What was your capstone project?
Ours was learning in the 21st century, technology learning in the 21st century. And I'm really, really grateful because I got to interview Dr. Caitlin Tucker on blended learning. And she's amazing. If you've never heard of her, she is an alumni of Pepperdine as well, an amazing professor. And I'm so grateful because this summer I have been selected to be part of a collaboration team in our district, doing a week-long blended learning workshop that we're going to be implementing in the start of the new year. So I just feel like I get to say, oh, I know Caitlin. But yeah, so that was what ours was on. Technology at that time, it was very pressing because, you know, thousands of teachers all over the nation and probably the world had to learn how to teach online, and parents had to learn how to be teachers online. So it was a big deal for our cohort at that time.
Wonderful. Oh, that's fantastic. We are going to get into some of the Q&A, but before we do that, I want to introduce everyone to Kelly Hill, because she is our enrollment officer for the MAT program. And I want Kelly to talk a little bit about enrollment services and how, if you're interested in this program, how you can go ahead and apply. So Kelly, I'm handing it off to you.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. Well, first off, fall applications are still open, and you can receive up to $7,000 in scholarships. So that's still certainly an option for you. And the application is fairly simple. I will literally hold your hand through the whole thing. So definitely reach out if you are interested. It's not too late to apply. I have really detailed instructions on some of the more complicated aspects of the application. So just in the interest of time, just reach out to me and I will definitely help you with the entire process. And we also have spring available as well. And that term is going to start in early January. And that's at our West LA campus. So if you feel like you don't have enough time to get it together for fall, you definitely have spring as an option as well. And there will still be scholarships available for that term also. So again, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help.
Excellent. Thank you, Kelly. All right. So at this point, we are going to go into our Q&A. So Sophia, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. So one of the first questions from a student is, or prospective student, I am planning to do the university intern program and keep my full-time teaching position. I would like to know the workload, weekly homework, and assignments. And also to explain the difference between starting the fall semester and starting from the spring semester. So for the second question regarding the difference between fall and spring, I'll hand that over to Dr. Garcia Ramos, and then our alumni can talk about workload, weekly homework, and assignments. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Sofia. So the difference between starting in the fall is that you're almost running with the same academic calendar that the students have, that you'll be in places where you'll be student teaching. So you go fall, the 3 terms go fall, spring, and summer, and you end in the summer. It is an 11-month program, so you'll be ending at the end of July. And so it almost feels like you have the trajectory that the students that you'll be working with out in the field in your clinical placement are going through. You'll see those developments with your students at the different placements that you're at. If you start in the spring, you start right at January. So you go spring, summer, and then you end in fall with full-time student teaching. I always say that sometimes our spring intake students are in a little bit more of an advantage, and I'll tell you why. Because what happens when they end in December is that they're ready to start looking for a position, and a lot of districts will be looking for somebody to either take over, or they identified already what positions they're going to need. And so they're in that employment application interviewing phase much sooner than our folks that start in the fall, because they start fall, spring, and they're not done till summer. And then they're trying to finish the program as they go through the interview process and looking for a position. It's not impossible. Close to 95% of our students will be employed, regardless of which start they have. But it just depends on what works for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Garcia Ramos. And for the next question regarding the student is planning to do the university program and also keep the full-time teaching position. So they would like to know regarding workload, weekly homework, and assignments. So Dr. Dane, I'll start off with you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm supervising some interns now. Your workload is typical for any university class. Essentially what you're going to be doing is turning in lesson plans that you're already creating for your classroom. So those lessons that you're doing for your classroom, you'll be using those. All of the work is practical. You're not doing the program. There's no busy work. Everything that you're creating and turning in is stuff that you're going to be using. So lesson plans, doing presentations for your class that you can use. Working collaboratively with other students. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's additional work. Your work is things that you're going to use or you can use in your classroom. It's not double work. And, you know, as long as you have really good time management skills, have a calendar, you will be set.
Thank you, Dr. Dane. MJ or James, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Just be prepared. That is an accelerated program. So I guarantee you're going to have an assignment for every one of your classes. Guarantee it. So, and just to piggyback off Dr. Dane, time management is also very important.
It does go very fast, as Dr. Garcia Ramos mentioned. It's an 11-month program. I'm going to be completely honest, many of my cohort, we did not work because we were all very, you know, on those 4.0s. We spent a lot of time with our professors, gave us a ton of time. We spent a lot of time with each other. We wanted to do really well and excel. So in that 11-month time with student teaching and with the program, a lot of us didn't work. The other half maybe worked part-time. So in that year time frame, I was married, 2 kids, very busy on top of it. So, you know, there's a reason why Pepperdine has such a great reputation. They produce amazing, I know I'm speaking for myself right now, but they produce amazing educators. They're very serious. The professors, they're great. You know, they really want to help make, you know, the transition into the grad program as seamless as possible. But, you know, it's a lot of reading and it's a lot of writing and it's a lot of collaboration.
Thank you.
What I would
Go
say
ahead.
about the interns is that the interns have your supervisors and your mentor teachers, although you're in your own classroom, you are still supported. So as long as you reach out and you connect with your mentor teacher and your supervisor, you will be supported. Just ask questions, continue to, reach out, and you'll be okay.
Yeah,
It's
and
doable.
I just wanted to chime in and differentiate between working and being an intern, because an intern is a teacher and they're out in the field and they have full-time employment. So the advantage would be that your students, your clinical placement is your classroom, and your students are the ones that you'll be focused on for all of your assignments at TPA, analysis of literacy, whatever it is, you're in your classroom and you would have that advantage of really knowing your students. Outside of being an intern, we highly recommend that folks don't work as they move into the MAT program, because you're in clinical placement during the day and you're in university classes in the evenings. It's only twice a week, but it is a graduate program and it is fast paced. So there is, like you've heard from the alums, lots of work to do, because we want to make sure that you have everything that we need to cover, not only so that you have received this comprehensive educational experience at the university, but that you can take that and adapt it for what your particular context is.
There is also one more thing that Dr. Garcia mentioned. That's the EdTPA. That alone is going to swallow up a lot of your time. So, and I'm seeing MJ's results. EdTPA it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to swallow up a lot of time. So if I were you, come second phase, I'd get started on it. In fact, get started on it the day you start phase one.
Yeah, and that's our teaching performance assessment, which all teacher candidates in all teacher credential programs have to work through. It's a national accreditation process, and it's a portfolio that you put together about you being in a pre-service program as a developing teacher. And we walk you through that experience.
Thank you so much for that amazing perspective, and also Dr. Garcia Ramos for differentiating for our participants here. In regards to that question, actually, a student asked, can you please speak on if there is a general timeline for the capstone project and EdTPA? Is EdTPA included in any of our courses? And I'll hand that over to Dr. Garcia Ramos.
Yes, your EdTPA, and I'll put a link in the chat in a little bit, happens if you start in the fall. It's going to be a major part of your clinical seminar in the second semester in the spring. If you start in the spring, it'll be a major component of your last semester in the fall. And it, like I said before, it's a portfolio. It's through Pearson. It's putting together your own narrative and examples of your narrative, meaning student products, about how you're developing as an educator for classrooms. That's EdTPA. And then the capstone experience always happens in that last term. So if you start in the spring, you'll be having EdTPA and a capstone experience in that last term. If you start in the fall, you'll have EdTPA experience in the second semester, and then the capstone experience during the summer. But we've worked out the calendar so that regardless of when you have EdTPA, we've also eliminated a class from, not eliminated, but reduced the units so that you have more time to dedicate to really developing a narrative and a portfolio for your EdTPA that makes it more manageable. You don't have the additional course that you have in the other terms.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia Ramos. I want to turn this over also to Kelly, because we have a lot of questions regarding just enrollment. So one of the questions says, I saw that class enrollment is coming up. Yay. Is this an independent process, or do we reach out to an academic advisor? What's the process like? I also put a link for y'all to make an appointment with Kelly so she can answer your questions more personally. But they also wanted to ask about how does student housing work? So I'll start off with those two questions, Kelly, because we have a little bit more.
Yeah, I can definitely cover those. There is no student housing per se. So we can provide links depending on the area that you're in. I'm happy to provide those links to you. So just email me and I will respond to that with the links of suggestions. In terms of registration starts July 17th. You'll be receiving something from your academic advisor, his Moises Olavieta, and he will be reaching out to you before the end of this month with instructions on all that and orientation and all those kinds of good things. So just sit tight and he'll definitely have that to you by the end of the month.
Thank you, Kelly. We also have a question about, for those who have to take the CSET, by when would the scores have to be submitted by? Dr. Garcia Ramos, I'll let you explain what CSET means for those that don't know and answer this question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So the CSETs are subject matter competency. And if you're going to be an elementary school teacher like MJ, you need to take the multiple subject CSET. And if you're secondary, meaning you see yourself as a middle school or high school teacher, it is content specific. So James took the math CSET, for example, and Jay, you were multiple subject, right? So it just depends. If you're going to teach chemistry, it's a chemistry CSAT. If it's history and social studies. So these are subject matter competencies that help us understand that you have a background to be able to teach that content. They're run through Pearson, and Kelly has all that information. She's probably already sent it to you. But if you need it, we'll make sure that we give you links so that you have that now. And by when do you need to have it done by? If you're starting in the fall, I strongly suggest that you sign up, take it. Some folks, because they have subtests, decide that I'm going to start with subtest 1 and then take subtest 2. I say take it all, because you want to make sure that you understand what it is in its entirety, where you score well, what you may need to brush up on, and then you reschedule to take any sections that you may have missed. I would strongly suggest, because it is a fast-paced, full-time program, that you take them before you enter the program. But if you're because they're scheduled by Pearson, so sometimes they're so close to when you're entering in the fall or in the spring, just make sure that they send them directly to GSEP Pepperdine so that we get those scores as soon as you get those scores, and you need to have them done or completed, or we need to have evidence that you're working towards completion of the CSETs by the end of your first term.
Thank you. This is all awesome information, and we have a lot more questions to get through. So thank you to our participants for also asking, because this is just so useful for everyone. So another question was, what skills or knowledge did you learn throughout the GSEP MAT program that you found most useful? MJ, I'll hand this over to you, and then we can go to James and Dr. Dane if they have anything to share as well.
A lot. I was trying to think, how can I the culmination of it all when I finished, I think Yaz was talking about this earlier. I had 8 options. Like, I had the 8 interviews and I got the job. I had 8 to choose from, not because I'm amazing, but because I went through this program. And how you speak in front of, a panel of 6 people, including the principal and all these, that are interviewing you, you don't even realize the verbiage that you have. I mean, it's just because it's the constant talking. When you're in this program, you just know it. It's embedded in you. And I just think it's so important when you're in this program, how you don't realize all the things that you're learning. And so I would just say that I can't even I don't know, maybe someone else can answer it better, but you do learn a lot. You learn a lot that you don't even know. I felt very current when I was doing my interview. I felt extremely current to the times. I wasn't talking about something that happened 10 years ago, but not only current, but just even prospective future, how I could see things changing and the ways that I wanted to implement myself and how we can change the structure of education. Sorry, I hope that's helpful.
No, that was great. Thank you, MJ. So another question is, can you share some differences you noticed between districts and schools? How did you decide where to apply? James, I'll hand this over to you first.
Well, having been experienced in my current district, I mean, I have a history. I mean, having worked for this district now for 13 years, I've had a history too. And prior to while I was at Pepperdine, as well as I was also subbing multiple classrooms, and that's how I really got my name out there through administration and through other school teachers. And so needless to say, as soon as I was just finishing up my last term, they were already looking at me as a candidate for my school site at Saddleback. And I even got poached once after my second year as a teacher here at Saddleback. El Medina High School tried to poach me for that position. So needless to say, the more you put yourself out there, the more reputable and the more marketable you are to potential employees, or employers, I should say.
That's awesome. Thank you, James. Dr. Dane, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Sure. So I've taught in a variety of school districts in the last decade. I've taught at LAUSD, Santa Monica, Malibu, and charter. I've also subbed at some private schools. And I have to say that, I think the way you choose is based off of your current circumstances, whether that be a financial aspect, is one school district or one school paying you more money. If that's your jam, that's your jam. Is it the environment, the type of resources that they have access to? Is it the community? Is it your community that you grew up in? Did this, job opportunity come up from, an academic advisor? My first position I got because my academic advisor said, hey, we need teachers at this school, and they're hiring on the spot. The vice principal was an alum of the program, and I got hired that day when I went to interview. So, it really just depends. It depends on your current circumstances, but each school district, whether it's private, public, or charter, they all have really positive things that they offer. And, you just have to choose what's best for you.
Thank you, Dr. Dane. And thank you for sharing that about making yourself marketable and really putting yourself out there and growing these connections. Let's see, there's another question about if there's any special opportunities available throughout this program or through Pepperdine in general that y'all found useful and you would recommend our participants to take advantage of. James, I see.
Well, for starters, I kind of expanded. I extended my stay at Pepperdine for another year. That's because I chose to participate in other activities such as the Urban Fellowship Initiative. But the most important one that I joined a part about was CABE. So joining CABE, that opened a lot more doors for me because, again, CABE, also we collaborate with other school districts throughout the state. And every year, they hold their annual conferences. So I've had, doors for, I've made collaborations with not only the board at CABE too, but also with other district members as well. So you definitely want to participate more. That way, like I said, it opens a lot more doors for you. You know, there'll be potential employers at the conference. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Garcia Ramos, isn't the conference next year in Long Beach?
Next year, the conference will
No,
be
it's in Anaheim.
Yes,
So it's my
Orange County,
so
and
it's
that's another great place to go and come prepared with those beautiful resumes and cover letters that Career Services will help you put together, because you go to the conference and you have instant interviews on the spot from districts across the state.
Including the Orange County Department of Ed has been a participant at the conference.
Yes.
Thank you. And sorry, go ahead, MJ.
I was just going to say, while you're in the program, definitely take advantage of the writing services. They're amazing. And they're fellow students that, you know, have also either been in the program or they're in a different department, but it really helps to have someone else have eyes on your work. Career services, they're amazing. Definitely want to take advantage of it. And they're all, it's like, they just got done talking to 20 people, but then they talk to you and it's like you're the first person they talk to that day. They're never tired. And then also after you graduate, join the alumni. It's been so great just to even, you know, do the different outreach programs that they have and how they help communities. I've taken my family, we've done different things that alumni programs have made available for us to help, you know, different communities across LA. So I would definitely join the alumni.
Thank you, MJ. Let's see here. Oh, okay, this is an important one. Advice for non-traditional grad students as I return to school after graduating from undergrad 10 years ago. So if anyone wants to jump in and share their perspective.
I think if anything, we go back to that time management, making sure you have a calendar, schedule out when things are due, have highlighters, sticky notes, and Post-its, try to get as organized as possible. Set up some like dedicated time to really focus on specific, like at TPA or RICA or whatever CSET or test that's coming up, so that you know that this is the dedicated time for that. That will help you manage the expectations of work. And then really just lean in and lean on your professors and your cohort, because they are the people who they are in there in the trenches with you. They are going to help you get through. So if you have any questions, you're struggling with something, reach out and they either are having the same question or will help you answer it.
Yeah, I agree. That's the place I was coming from. I had graduated undergrad 20 years before. And so I was making a whole new life change, career change, everything. I was the third, I wasn't the oldest person, but I was third to the oldest person in my cohort. So yeah, that was fun. No, but they're amazing. You can't even tell there's an age difference, just the way, you know, everyone is there for each other. But I agree what she had just said, because you have to be organized, you know, you've got to be, you know, disciplined. We would just, it's like being on Pinterest, you know, how you grab everyone's ideas. That's how it was. I mean, we were just, how did you do that? And how did you block out this time schedule? And so we always relied on each other and just, you know, copied everyone's ideas. And again, the professors, they want you to succeed. They want you to do amazing things. And so they're there. I would say communicate. A lot of communication. If you feel like, you know, you're kind of behind, they want to do what they can to help you, you know, get caught up. Your friends, your cohort, they want you to be with them. I remember we were cheering on our friends. We would mail things because, again, part of it was COVID. We would mail things to each other. One friend, her uncle passed, and like 5 of us got together and we had flowers delivered to her. And, you know, she was like 2 hours away. But we just did all those kinds of things just to help each other be encouraged, because that was a big deal. Again, it's fast paced. There's a lot of organization, you got to be on it, a lot of reading. I agree also with Dr. Garcia Ramos that it's really crucial, if you can, try to take those CSETs before. I got 2 out of the 3 done only because it was COVID, and that third one was going to be right before my program started, and they canceled. They canceled 5 times actually, and I didn't get to take that one, and it was the hardest one for me, math. I thought I was going to have to redo it many times, but I passed all of them the first time. I didn't get to finish it till March of the following year, and it was scheduled for July the year before. But at any rate, try to take those, because there are a lot of papers, a lot of tests at TPA, all those things. So yeah.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. I know that we had a few more questions, but we'll send those out in the post-event email, and hopefully some of our panelists can still answer those for y'all. But I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Dorn at this time so we can finish off the presentation. But thank you so much for everyone for being here today with us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sophia. And thank you, everyone, for the wonderful questions. And all of the answers have been so informative and I think so impactful. I've been seeing some of the comments saying, thank you, that this has been wonderful and such great information. And it has been, and I really appreciate it. Dr. Garcia Ramos, thank you so much. Yaz Hardaway, Kelly Hill, really appreciate everything that you have done today, participating. And then to our alums, MJ, Dr. Dane, James, fantastic. Just wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. This has been just so wonderful. We really appreciate you. And then not to mention Sophia and Alexis. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all of the work that you do to help put this together. And at this time, I'm going to pass this on to Alexis to talk about our contact information and then our evaluation. So Alexis, I am passing this on to you.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Alexis, and I'm the GA for Alumni Relations. And yes, please contact us if you need anything. Our email is gsepalum@pepperdine.edu. Phone number 310-568-5649. And then that is our West LA address as well. And then, of course, here is the link to LinkedIn, and you're more than welcome to check that out for anything. And then to the next slide, Sophia. And then, so I just wanted to let you know that there are some QR codes for y'all to check out. This is our first one. Is a survey evaluation. So please let us know if you enjoy this presentation and how you think we can improve on that. And then the second QR code is get involved. So we are always looking for alumni, staff, faculty, and student volunteers who want to be more active in the GSEP events or programs. So if interested, please check it out. And thank you for coming again. I really appreciate it, and have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating. Thank you for joining us. And we hope you have a fantastic day. And make sure you come back to our next Student Alumni Roundtables. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.